this is what we have as our question 1, and it is for 6 marks. Now, in order for you to excel at these type of questions, you need to be familiar with reduction formula, special angles, negative angles, and also, since you're now in grade 12, double angles and compound angles, which we may sometimes need to apply. Now, our approach for a question like this is we work through each part separately. We're going to start off by looking at sine of 540 degrees minus x. And when you have something like this, so obviously 540 is not one of our reduction formulas. But if we have an angle that is bigger than 360, we can minus 360 from it. And this is something that we always do when the angle is bigger than 360. Minusing 360 allows us to work with an angle that lies in one of the 4 quadrants and hoping that we can get a reduction formula. So 540 minus 360 reduces to 180. We now have sine of 180 minus x. Now that is a reduction formula. We're now focusing on sine of negative x. Remember that sine of a negative angle is equal to minus sine of that angle. So negative angles make sine negative. Now moving on, the question has this negative, so we're just going to bring that down. And we're now focusing on cos of 180 minus x. Firstly, 180 minus lies in the second quadrant where cos is negative. So that is going to become negative cos x, which I've represented in a bracket because of the minus that was in front. Now we're looking at sine of 90 plus x. 90 plus lies in the second quadrant where sine is positive. However, 90 changes sine into cos. That gives us cos x. Next, we're going to simplify what we have. So first focusing on sine of 180 minus x. 180 minus is in the second quadrant where sine is positive. So that is equal to sine x. Now this negative sine x, we cannot do anything further with that. So we're just going to bring that down. And now focusing on the entire second term. Since these cannot be further simplified, we have negative times a negative, which gives us a positive. So we're just multiplying them out, and we have cos x times cos x, which should be cos squared x. Now focusing on the first term here, we have sine x times negative sine x. That can multiply to give us negative sine squared x. And we have the plus cos squared x next to that. So by now, this should look familiar to you. What's actually interesting is that if we swap these two terms around and we write them as cos squared x minus sine squared x, we realize that this is one of the expansions for the double angle of cos. So this is just equal to cos 2x. And that is our final answer. Remember that the aim of these questions is to simplify either until you get a value as your answer or until you get a single trig ratio as your answer. Now, to show you where the marks were given, there was a mark allocated where you reduced sine 540 minus x and you had sine x. So normally marks are allocated for the answers of each reduction. We were given a mark for using the negative angle here to get negative sine x. There was a mark allocated for reducing cos of 180 minus x and getting negative cos x. The fourth mark was given where you reduced sine 90 plus and you got cos x. Then once you simplified and you had negative sine squared x plus cos squared x, that is where your fifth mark was allocated. And the sixth mark was given for your final answer, which is cos 2x.